Okay, so let's begin with our session today. There was a gap, I was not able to come live due to some family functions. Uh, but let's continue with our SQL course. Okay, so just to summarize, like what all we have covered in our last sessions and all. So in our first sessions and all, we have covered what is data analytics, importance of data analytics, and then we covered what is SQL, what is the importance of SQL in data analytics, and then we have covered the different SQL commands, installation of Oracle Apex, and also loading the data and how to query it. Then we have went through the single row functions, group functions, and then we have also covered what are the different types of joins in our last session. So today I'm going to cover what is subqueries in SQL. Just to give a brief introduction about our Technocraft Academy. So Technocraft Academy is like a training based company which is located at Belgavi. So we provide trainings on basic computer course, spoken English, CAD, CAM, CAE, and full stack and data analytics course. Along with these trainings, we also help the students for placement, which includes resume building or interview preparation, soft skill trainings, you know. We also have a connection with our industry partners, HR recruitment team as well. So please take an advantage of this, and you can also get enrolled in our training center for the different courses that are available. Okay, so I'm going to start with today's topic, which is subqueries in Oracle. Okay, so first, what is the meaning of subquery? So subquery is nothing but a query inside the query. So from the um, word, we can understand that is a query within the query. So we know that some of the like say SQL queries may become very complex. So in order to avoid such situations, we are using subqueries where we are writing. If you see the example, we can see that a select statement is inside the select statement. So such queries are called subqueries, and these subqueries usually reside inside the where clause, or it can be even from the from or even in the select as well. So select a star, or like a select of select we can have, or also we can in the example we can see here I'm getting a select from the where clause. So similarly I can also do select star from, and inside from I can put a again a select statement. Okay, so this is what is subqueries. So what are the advantages of using subqueries? So if you see, provide an alternative way to query the data that would require complex joins and unions. So in order to avoid these complex joins or union statements, we use a subqueries. So that will also help us to shorten the query length, as well as avoid all the complexities that are involved. So make the complex queries more readable, and also allow subquery complex queries to be structured in a way that is possible to isolate each part. Means sometimes including lot of joins and unions may confuse the person who is new to the topic. So using the subquery will help to ease in readability as well as structured way. Okay, so we have two types of subqueries in Oracle. One is non-correlated and correlated subqueries. So these are made based upon the execution process. Okay, so in non-correlated subqueries, first the inner query will execute and return the value, and later outer query will execute. So first the inner query will be executed, and based upon the result then the outer query will be executed. So these are called non-correlated subqueries. And in correlated subqueries, first the outer query will execute and that will return a value, and then the inner query will execute. So whatever the outer query will return a value, that is passed to the inner query, and then the inner query will get executed. So this is a correlated subqueries. Okay, I have listed down some of the examples to get into this more detail in subqueries. So one more thing that we need to consider here is a lot of interview questions will be based upon these subqueries. It is one of the important topic in SQL. So most of the times it is the interviewer will not be asking directly about what is the definition of a subquery or where we use it. So they'll directly put a scenario based question. So based upon the meaning like a question, we should understand whether there is a requirement of subquery or no. So I'm listed down some of the examples. So these are most of the interview questions as well, so you can practice these. Okay, the first example is, who is getting highest salary from the employee table? So we can also directly write down a question saying a max of salary, but here it says who is getting the first highest salary. So in order to calculate the first highest salary, there can be a question of even who is getting second highest salary as well. So we'll take this an example. I'm going to Oracle SQL now. Okay, this is the Oracle Apex. I have already given introduction about this in the second session. Also I have covered installation and how to use it. You can go through the second session for this. Okay, so we have I have already downloaded an employee table. I'm just going to do a select star from employees once again. Okay, so these are the columns that are available in our employee table. So we need a person who is getting a highest salary. So I'm going to use a subquery here. Select, I need the first name. So select first name from employee table, where we need to calculate the salary. So I'm providing a condition called where the salary equals to max of salary. The group function is not allowed here. So I'm trying to use a max salary. That's why I'm getting an error called a group function is not allowed. So in this case, like what we can do is, instead of equating it to max salary, we can use a subquery here. So I'm going to use select max of salary from employee table. See, we got our name, he is Steven. So we know that this statement, select max of salary from employee, will give us the what is the maximum salary. Okay, so this statement will give us what is the maximum salary. So we know that it is a 24,000. So we need to calculate the person who is getting the this maximum salary. So for that we are using it, instead of like we if we had known this 24,000, so we could have directly written here where salary equals to 24,000. So this will give us the results. But since we don't know what is the highest salary, so we don't know what is the maximum salary. So in that case, we are going to use this subquery. So this will provide us the employee's name who is getting the highest salary, which is Steven. Okay, so we try to use here salary equal to max of salary, but in that case we'll get an error called error with the group function. That's why we are not able to use directly max of salary. Instead of that, we can use the subquery, select max of salary. This will give us directly the result, even though we are writing it here in the form of query, but it will be equated to 24,000 and we'll get the result. So this is one of the example to calculate a employee who is getting a highest salary. Okay. So next example says whose employee job is same as the job of Smith. So here we need to calculate a job of an employee, like it may be a employee or employees whose job should be same as job of Smith. So we don't know what is the job of Smith here. So directly they haven't given what is the job of Smith. So first we need to calculate what is the job of Smith, and then we need to use that job to calculate the employees whose job is same. Okay, so for that we are going again, we are using a subquery here. If you see the example, like the query, select star from employees where department name equals to, select department name from the employees where employee name equal to Smith. So whatever the subquery you are seeing here, so first in this subquery we are calculating the department name of a Smith. So that department name, that we are going to equate it to get the employees details. Okay, I hope this it is clear. So let's try to run this in our Oracle Apex. Okay, so we need a job name. So in our case we don't have a department name here, instead we have a department ID. Okay, so instead of department ID I'll rather use job ID. Okay, the name was given as Smith, but I'll use Steven. So we'll try to calculate all the employees whose I don't think so Steven would be preferable because it is a precedent and I think it is only one job ID available. We'll use another David. So David is having IT programmer. Okay, so we'll try to calculate all the employees whose job ID is same as of David. So we know that David job ID is IT programmer, so we need to get all the employees whose job ID should be IT programmer. Okay, so in, like, I'm able to see the data and table, but let's assume that we are not able to see the end data, so we don't know what is the job ID of David. So in that case, first we need to find out what is the job ID of the David. So select job ID from employees where first name where first name equals to, we have it as a David. Okay, we are getting an error called no data found. This is because whatever the data we checked, it was not the complete uppercase, but I'm writing it here uppercase. That's why I'm getting a David error here. So let me use, instead of upper of first name equals to David. Yeah, so we got it, the result as IT programmer reception. So we have like we have a 3 employees with the first name as a David who are having 3 different jobs: IT programmer, receptions and receptions. Okay, let's use this the same thing. So we got to know that we have these three job IDs. So I'm going to use this subquery under this to get all the employee details who are having the same job ID as of David. So we need to find out the job ID. So select first name, like all the employees, like employee's name from the employee table where job ID equals to. Select the job ID from employees where upper name, upper of first name equal to David. That means we are going to calculate all the job IDs whose job ID is same as of David. Okay, I'm going to run this query now. Okay, this is because we saw that David, like a employee whose name was David, was having a lot of like a multiple job IDs. So that's why we are getting an error called single row subquery returns more than one row. So it should return a single value because we are equating here. So when we are equating, there should be a single value. Okay, so let me try using some other employee name here. Okay, we have an employee called Key. So I'm like going to use the first name of an employee as Key. So let me try with that. Okay, I've written upper, so this should be in a uppercase. Yeah, you can see these many employees are having same job as of um, employee whose first name is Key. Okay, so we saw all the errors that are possible. So first we checked, like when we were trying to use directly job ID, like a salary equal to maximum of salary, we got an group function error. So that is one thing we need to consider. And then when we try to equate the job ID with the David's, so we got a error like the subquery was returning multiple rows instead of a single row. So these are the scenarios that we need to remember, like using subqueries. Okay, so instead of a first name, if I want a count, I can use the count here. So I just want to know how many employees are doing the same job as of Key. Okay, the count says 20, so 20 employees are doing same job as Key. Okay, let's jump to the next example. Okay, next example says whose employee job is same as job of Blake and who are earning salary more than Blake's salary. So here if you see there are two conditions provided. One is the job ID should be same as of Blake and salary should be more than salary of a Blake. So we need to consider two conditions. So here we are going to use two subqueries, one for the department name and one more for the salary. If you see the query here, select star from employees where department name, in our case it is a job ID. Say select a department name from employee. So this is the if you see the first half of the query, it is the same as like what we have written now already. And the next one is salary greater than or less than whose salary is more than Blake. Okay, so it is combining of first and second query if you observe it. So whatever the two examples just we checked, so it is a combination of both. We are providing two conditions here. So I'm going to run this query in our Oracle Apex. Okay, so we already have this. I'll keep it as key only. We need all the employees count, like we need all the employees whose job is same as of key, and we have one more condition. It says salary should be greater than him. So again, here we need to write one more subquery for the salary. Salary should be greater than. It should be greater than salary of a key. Wait. First name is equal to key. Okay, select statement is wrong here. It should be a C. Yeah, so we can see all these, like we have 15 rows written. Who are having the job ID same as of key and whose salary is more than salary of key. So we have such 15 employees available. So it's not like we can have any condition provided here. Instead of key, you can also provide a name. Like I can provide David's name as well here. So anything is okay. Okay, again we are getting a error called single because David and key both are returning a different values. That's why we are getting single row subquery returns more than one row. So we just need to consider the data. Depending upon the data we can write the queries. So David, like here David was having multiple job IDs and that was returning multiple salaries as well. So that's why we are getting this error. Okay. Okay, let's check out the another example. So we saw like we can have multiple subqueries as much as needed. It's not like limited to one or two. Depending upon the question, we can have as many as subqueries are required. So next question says display the senior employee. So we need to calculate who is the senior employee in the company or organization. So we can go ahead with the hire date. So if you see the query here, select star from employees where hire date equals to select minimum of hire date. So the hired so if you directly similarly, like if you try to equate it like hire date equals to minimum of hire date, then again you will get a group function error. So in that case we are using a subquery here. So in this case we are going to use a minimum of hire date in order to know who is the senior employee. So who joined first will be having a minimum hire date. So this is just a simple example. I hope this is clear. So next we have one more question. Find the second highest salary from the employees. So this is one of the most important interview question asked very frequently. Usually they'll ask about second highest salary instead of highest salary. So it says maximum of salary from the employees where salary is again a less than or greater than select max of salary from the employees. So let's try to run this example in the Oracle Apex. I'll try to explain there. Okay, I'm removing this. Okay, what it says, we need the second highest salary. Okay, so we know that max of salary will give us what is the maximum salary. So from the first this half statement will get what is the maximum salary. So SQL is not a case sensitive, it is a case insensitive. So I'm writing here uppercase or lowercase, but that is still working because it is a case insensitive. Okay. Select max of salary from employees, will this statement will give me what is the highest salary. But what I need which is like a second highest salary. So my where condition will be this, it should be a maximum salary but less than the first highest salary. So here where where salary should be less than maximum of the salary. Again this, whatever this subquery is there, this will give me the maximum salary. But since I'm using a subquery here, so this will provide me the second highest salary, which is 17,000. So this will calculate the maximum salary, this will also calculate the maximum salary. But what is happening here, so first it will go to this query, it will calculate the maximum salary. Okay, so it should be less than this salary. So again, whatever the salary I'm getting, first we know how the query executes. First it goes to the where condition and then we'll go to the select statement. So first we have already calculated it as maximum salary is 24,000. So next, the whatever the highest salary is there, which is less than 24,000, that is 17,000. Okay, so first this will execute, and considering the 24,000, it will be like a maximum salary which is less than 24,000. In that case we'll get the second highest salary, which is 17,000. So similarly we can do it even for the third highest salary. So in that case we need to again include one more subquery which will be inside this subquery. So here again we'll have to include again this same statement in order to calculate the third highest salary. So again, from employees where salary is less than max of salary, that will give me the third highest salary. Just to give an example, it will be here. Yeah, so the third highest salary is 14,000. So this is the way it is calculated. So most of the times it is asked the second highest salary, and in some cases they might ask even the third highest salary as well. Okay. So next, go to our next question. We calculated what is the second highest salary. So next question says, display the employee details who are getting the second highest salary in the employee table. So instead of second highest salary, they want to know all the employee details. So in that case, we'll use select star from employee where salary equals to. So again here, this whole whatever the last example we saw, that will be in the subquery, and we'll have a outer query as select star from employee. Okay. So what does subquery does is like it reduces the result. So instead of first we'll calculate the maximum salary, and then from that we'll calculate that we'll use it as a condition to get the second highest salary, and after getting the second highest salary, then we'll use that as a condition to get all the employee details. Okay, so I'm just going to run this query. Okay, this was for the third highest. So if you want to know all the details of the employees, so we'll use select star from the employee where salary is salary equals to second highest salary employee details we need. Okay, so we have two employees. One is Naina and one more is Lex. So who are having second highest salary, who are 17,000. Okay, so this is an example which gives us all the employee details who are having the second highest salary. Okay, let's check out our next example. Display employee details who are getting third highest salary in the employee table. So this example we have already covered. So we are going to use subquery inside the subquery to get the third highest salary. So next says, whose salary is more than the maximum salary of the job is salesman. So we have given the job ID as a salesman. So we need to calculate the maximum salary who all are having the job as a salesman. So if you check the query, it says, first we'll check what is the subquery says. We need the maximum salary who are having the job as salesman. So we need to use this as a condition to get all the employees who are who are having salary which is greater than that of job ID having salesman. Okay, so let's try out this example. So there we had an example of employee having the job ID as a salesman, but here we can use a different job ID. So let's check what are the different job IDs that are available. We have president, advertiser, president, IT programmer, manager, engineer. So let me use a engineer an example. So we need all the employee details where job ID is engineer and having the maximum salary. Okay, so here I'm just going to modify this. First we need to calculate maximum salary where job ID is engineer. Okay, so the engineers are getting a maximum salary of 9,000 a year. So we need to get all the employees whose salaries is same as of engineer salary. Okay, we have two receptionist as well, IT programmer as well, engineer as well, who are getting same salary as 9,000, 9,000, 9,000. Okay, so if I want greater than, so I want all the employee details whose salary should be greater than those of engineers. Okay. So we have these many employees whose salary is greater. So whose salary is greater than that of engineer was taking 9,000. So don't. It's just an example. It's not like a engineer is having 9,000 salary, even the receptionist. So it's just an example, guys. It's not like a actual data. It's just a dummy data. Okay. So I hope this example is clear. We are first calculating the job id, like the maximum salary of the job id engineer, and then we are using it as a condition to get all the employees whose salary is greater than those of engineer's salary. Okay, let's move on to our next example. What our next example is sum of salary of jobs. If the sum of salary of the jobs are more than the sum of salary of job is clerk. Let's read out the question once again. It says sum of salary of jobs if sum of salary of jobs are more than the sum of salary of job is clerk. So we know that the job is clerk, and first we need to know what is the sum of salary of having a job as clerk. So we need to calculate um, whatever the sum of salary of job is there, who are working as a clerks, it should be more than that sum of salaries. Okay, so we need to calculate the job ids whose sum of salary is more than the sum of salaries who are working as a clerk. So here, instead of where, we are going to use having clause, because first we need to group it according to job. So we are going to group all the employees who are working as a clerk, and then we are going to provide a condition based upon this grouping. So in case of this type of questions where we are going to apply condition upon the grouping, we are going to use having instead of where clause. So we have already covered about this where and having clause in our maybe in our fourth session or fifth session. Okay, it says select a department name and sum of salary from the employees. So we are going to group it by department name, which is like we are going to group it based upon the job who are working as a clerk, and then we are going to provide a condition here having the sum of salary which is greater than sum of salary. We are providing a subquery here inside a having clause. Okay, so let's try this example in our Oracle Apex. Okay, what we need all the job IDs. Also, we need the sum of salary. So here we are using sum, which is a group function, because we are already grouping it, and also we are using a having clause. So we are going to group by job IDs. Instead of where, we'll have a having clause here. having uh, salary should be more than that of um, salary who are working as a clerk. So sum of salary should be greater than sum of salary from employee where department ID equals to, it was a clerk, let me use it as engineer only. Okay, so first try to run this inside the subquery. So it says 39,600. So altogether the engineer salary is 39,600. So we need this whatever the job ID and sum of salary, it should be greater than this 39,600. Yeah, we got different job IDs here, like we have a clerk, salesman, senior clerk and receptionist. So whose salary is, like we had it as a 36,000, but here if you see it is a 55,061, so which is obviously greater than 36,000. Okay, so we see like we are using a group, like we are grouping it based upon the job ID, that's why we are using having clause, but inside the subquery we are using where clause because directly um, instead of we are not grouping here, we are directly equating it, that's why we are using where clause inside this subquery. Okay. Okay, that's all about today's session. So we have covered plenty of examples on the subqueries. So just to remember, in the interview, we directly there will be no questions asked upon what is subquery or the types of subquery. There will be an example asked, and even they won't specify whether we need to use a subquery or joins. So depending upon the question statement, you can decide whether we need a subquery or no. And the most asked interview questions are what is the second highest salary or the third highest salary, and what is the job ID, whose job ID is the same of Alexander Smith or anything. So these are some of the important interview questions that are frequently asked. Okay, thank you everyone for attending the session. We are also available on different social media platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, so please, and Facebook. Please do follow us, as well as we have a WhatsApp community where we provide updates on the job openings, different trainings, and interview questions as well. So please do join our WhatsApp community as well. Okay, let's meet in our next session. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.